Seeing new layoffs announced just this week, everything from Goldman Sachs, Merck, Yahoo, Chrysler, Xerox. There are others. The screen's too small to fit all the companies that were cutting jobs this week, and that's where we are in this economy, which is why we want to help you recession-proof your job. Make sure you keep your job or find a new one if you need to in this tough economy. We're very pleased to have Brad Karsh, president and founder of JobBound, and also employment attorney Robin Bond. We're going to try to help you figure out how to take control of something that you do have control over in this economy, and that is your job. Brad, let me start with you first. This is layoff season, isn't it? I mean, we're coming into the end of the year. It seems to me, just from my own, personal experience of people I know and things that have happened in the companies I've worked for, that this is the time of year we start to hear about the people who will not be around next year.
Absolutely. And you just read a list of some pretty prominent companies that are going through layoffs, and the assumption is that it's only going to continue.
It's going to continue how? I mean, do we think this every different kind of industry? It's certain different industries, and should we be looking for layoffs now or into next year?
Well, the assumption is that given everything that's going on with the markets, that there's going to be a continued string of layoffs across a variety of different companies spanning all different types of industries. And I think right now, as an employee, you have to think about what can I do to make sure that if our company does go through a layoff, I'm prepared to survive it.
I'm going to get Robin's perspective on that in a minute, but let's stick with you, and I want you to go through those points you have for securing your job. I mean, this is now the time to be making yourself indispensable at the office, isn't it?
Exactly. One of the things that I say is you want to try and become the person, and by that I mean we can't let go of Milo. He's the new business person. Or we can't let Lisa go. She's the client relationship business. So whatever's important to your company and whatever you might be able to form a niche in, that's what you want to be pushing for right now. Make yourself indispensable.
At the same time, though, network within the company, because you don't want to be just tagged as one certain kind of worker. You want everybody to know, hey, listen, if you're getting rid of a certain department, I can take on additional responsibilities, and you know what, I can work for this other guy if I have to, or this other girl if I have to.
Yeah, there are a couple things there. One is absolutely this role of networking. We think of networking and we think of it only in terms of getting a job. But when companies go through layoffs, typically what they end up doing is a room full of people, and it's usually not your boss. It's going to be senior managers are deciding who's going to get let go and who isn't. And if those senior people have no idea who you are, it really harms your chances when it comes to staying around. So form that relationship with the senior manager if you can. Anything from going to the company softball games to making sure you say hi at the company party.
And Robin, you have some similar advice. Bring your A game to work. You got to get along. What are some of the things that we got to do?
Well, you've got to perform. You've got to get all your work done well and on time. But as I always say, it doesn't help if you're pulling a rabbit out of the hat if the boss doesn't see the rabbit, right?
Right.
So you have to make sure that when you do something well, or when clients give you a positive kudo, meaning that a girl, that a boy, make sure the boss sees it. Pass that kind of stuff along, save it, and make sure that everyone knows it. Now, corporations are not meritocracies. All right, so you perform well and you think you're doing a great job, and that's going to save you. But the bottom line is, people make decisions on who they like. So in addition to doing well and being an A player, being perceived as bringing your A game to work each and every day, you have to get along well with your boss. For example, I just had a person I've been working with who was performing really well. I mean, like 600% above target, thinking his job was very secure. But he was consistently fighting with his boss publicly, challenging his boss, arguing with his boss publicly. And, when it came layoff time, the boss picked him. He was like, why did this happen to me? And the bottom line is, you have to get along to stay employed today.
Robin, what do you do if you've lost that job? I mean, because you can do everything right, and if a bean counter, 2 steps up the ladder decides that 20% of the people are going to be fired, you could be in a particular office or a part of the company that's just been slated to be closed. What do you do?
Oh, well, one of the things you have to do, too, in terms of securing a job, too, is make sure you are a profit center. Even if you're just a support person, like an IT person, a human resources person, an admin assistant. I always, when I worked corporate, tried to demonstrate to my boss on an ongoing basis throughout the year things that I did to save money or help the bottom line, bring value to the company, make the boss look good. For example, saying, I helped work on this risk management program, and that helped implement cost savings or reduced accidents by X%. Show people how you save money in an objective, measurable, quantifiable way. People respond, bean counters respond very well to that.
Brad, nothing. I mean, no disrespect to the bean counters. I mean, we need them. You know, they're why companies grow. But I'm just saying, you know, I for a long time had been saying on the air, make sure you know which 5% you're in. Are you in the top 5% of your group, the bottom 5%, somewhere in the middle? And a couple of my friends in corporate America called me up and said, "Oh no, managers have they know the top 20% and the bottom 20%. You know, it's much more specific in this economy how many people could be cut. I think. What do you do if you've just found yourself on the wrong end of the pink slip?"
Obviously, this is a tough market to get back into the job market, but there are a couple things I advise. The first piece of advice is take a deep breath, take a pause. When we lose our job, our first tendency is to jump exactly back into what we were doing before. And I've worked with a lot of people who've lost their jobs and said, you know, Brad, I took a couple weeks and thought, I really don't like what I'm doing. I really am not happy with this career, and have used it to springboard to different careers and different options. If you have a little bit of time, there are a couple things you can do. The first thing you want to make sure that you do is get your foot in the door somewhere. So it's not going to be the best market to get the exact same job at the exact same pay. So look at small companies, look at medium-sized companies, look at even expanding geographies or just getting in somewhere, and then prove yourself when you're on the job.
All right, Brad Karsh, we have to leave it there. President and founder, JobBound, thank you so much. Also, Robin Bond, employment attorney. We're going to help you recession-proof your life, recession-proof your money, but first, right on your money.